Just pulling up to the barber shop, about to get this mop cut. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't base anything I say off these videos. I'm just doing it for pure entertainment purposes only. Want to jump in and let you know, in my opinion, this play has already been won. There's really not much else to say or do. This play, in my opinion, it's a personal opinion. I do think that we're already we are where we need to be. Everything else hasn't lined up. I think AMC is oversold. I think I really don't necessarily know if the SEC and all that stuff, like, they're in on anything. I just feel like maybe they don't. I'm not going to delve into all that. You know what I mean? Maybe they just don't have the proper evidence to jump in and do stuff, and maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe everything's all freaking rainbows and dandies. Dandies? Fucking tired. Dandelions. That's not a good thing. Roses and fucking rainbows and shit. Anyways, I've gone way off track. The main thing is, this video, I believe that AMC's already been set. It's been done. I don't think people are selling. And I think if you are selling, you're fucking crazy. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, and hold. But for me, personally, I have no reason to sell at all. I think this thing is it's gonna be a GameStop. It's gonna happen. In my opinion, I think this thing is gonna run eventually. And when it does, it'll be worth it. I get a lot of people that talk shit, a lot of people that are still talking shit, a lot of people think I'm crazy. But it really doesn't matter to me, just because the fact that I've done my own research on it, I've done my own delving into the depths of the DD, you know what I mean? I've looked at OBV buys, I've looked at fundamentals, I've looked at analytics, I've learned how to freaking do technical analysis, I've learned all sorts of shit that normally wasn't part of my day-to-day. You know, I've been in the market for a few years now, but I've because of AMC, I've jumped deeper and deeper and deeper. So I will say this also, even if AMC never squeezes, I never make a lot of money off of it, this play AMC has taught me the market. I've jumped in, I've learned way more than I ever would have with any other play, because the other plays I was just jumping in and jumping out, you know, like, oh cool, I made money. Now I'm starting to learn how to chart read. I've learned how to freaking monitor sometimes the company itself. Just because the company isn't freaking making tons of money, you can look at this. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. I think a lot of you have done the same thing. I've jumped into other plays and made money that I never would have even attempted. But I think everyone's there's you know, and GameStop I don't think is completely done either. I think there's people that held too long. They should have sold when it was up. And people say the same thing about AMC, you know, it was in the 70s. But I think AMC was capped. I think they learned some things. I think maybe a lot of people jumped into AMC and jumped out so they wouldn't be bag holding. But since that time, there's been buys and buys and buys. There's so many people buying, it's insane. At this point, you know, there's more shares available. It's going to be diluted, et cetera, et cetera. But the way people buy, like me and other people, I know people personally that just buy weekly, and they don't buy little shares like I do, you know. So the way people buy this stock, by next year again, it's going to be oversold, even if you don't believe in synthetics and none of that shit. If you don't believe there's any synthetics and there's nothing wrong, there's no wrongdoing, you can't deny the fact that people are buying and holding and they're not selling their shares. And AMC is fundamentally growing. You can say what you want to say, you know, that, oh, AMC, you know, movies are dead. Well, that's why AMC has expanded more than movies. They're doing production now. You know, they've got their hands dabbled in a Ben Affleck and Matt Damon movie that they're going to produce. There's the shit they did for Taylor Swift. Why can't I think of the word? Not production, but anyways, they're behind the scenes on that. They've got the popcorn, they've got the credit card, they've got candy, they've got alcohol, they've got other investments, they've got a gold mine that, yeah, it hasn't panned out, but eventually it will. there's other things that this company is doing that it's not one-dimensional. They're not staying. They're not stagnant. They're not dead in the water. They're moving, and that's what you want to see with a company. You know, you don't stick to one business model. Like me personally, I sell hats and sports stuff, but if that shit stops selling, I'm gonna find other things to sell. I'm always gonna be in business. I'm always gonna own a business. I'm always gonna maintain. I don't want to work for someone else. So that's the good thing I see with AMC. They're progressive. They're moving along. They're getting shit done. So I feel like this play's already been won. I feel like at some point or another it'll just release, it'll snap. Payment for order flow, we're buying shares and it's going into a dark pool and they're just hiding it. Eventually something is going to make it come out. You can't stash these things forever. At some point or another, be it this week, next month, 5 years from now, when it is exposed or when it has to be released, you know, they'll probably take the buy button, they'll probably do all that shit, but I know what I hold. I know that I hold something very life-changing in my hands. So, you know, don't let people talk you out of what you believe. If you believe that the stock sucks, that's fine. I like the stock. You don't have to like the stock. But I like the company. I like the stock. I like what the company's doing, even if there was no short squeeze. And I'm not saying that that's the only reason I'm in this, because I actually think the company is a smart company. It's progressive. It's going to grow. The prices right now are low. The only knock that AMC has is debt, which America has debt. Everyone has debt. You have debt. I have debt. It's not going to take us off. We're going to eventually have a come up and pay our debt. This is how it works. You know, when your people are progressively making your business better or moving forward and not looking back and like, oh my God, what am I going to do? They're not worried about the bill because they know they're going to pay the bill. You know what I mean? That's like when I have a bill come up, I don't say, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to come up with the money? I just pay the bill and make more money. You know, there's two types of people. There's people that stress over that, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? And they're the people that stress, struggle, and go into debt worse and worse, and you know, they stress it, and they never pay it. And then there's other people, that's how I categorize it. I could be not your opinion, but in my opinion, there's two types of people. There's people that stress the bills, pay them eventually, or don't. And there's people that don't stress the bills and pay them eventually, or don't. So, more than likely, if you're not stressing your shit, you're not stressing your bills, it's because you know you're going to find a way you're going to pay it. Not a big deal. And that's the way I look at AMC right now. They're in debt, but everyone's in debt. Debt is normal in a business. It's very normal. The worst part of it is because of COVID, and that thing is a lingering effect, but we're climbing out of it. And like I said, the movies, yes, they're not the same as they were. They'll never go away, but obviously they couldn't rely on just movies. The writer's strike, no matter what you want to say, it did affect the business. The economy, the way people are making money, it does affect business. So that's why the credit card was a good move. I think making their own candy is a good move. I think they're going to make more and more moves. I think the stock price is going to be, in my opinion, manipulated until it can't no more. So I know this is a long video, but I have faith. I believe this play is already wrapped up. It's just a matter of time before I get my package, you know? It's lost in the mail right now. It's like it got shipped from Singapore and it got lost, and somehow it got shipped to Australia, and then it's got to come over here and there. It'll make its way. That's just my opinion. I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed about it. And I'm not worried about what people say. I'm not worried about people laughing. Because when you're confident, it doesn't affect you. Have a good day. Be blessed. Gotta get my hair cut. Let's get rich, single. Peace.